Welcome back, everyone. Wherever you're watching on TNI or Smash This Podcast on YouTube or Twitch, you're in the right place because, man, that was a hell of a show. Welcome, everyone. J-Bone here. To my right, your left. We'll screw that up. Bill on location down at the tapings, and Truck. What's up, buddy?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Oh, Joe's even here. Oh, no.
Joe isn't here tonight. Joe had the night off, I guess.
Got the night off.
VB,
But not from TNI. Joe always appears.
Yeah,
he's a better regular than Trent at this point.
Oh.
I can say that because I know he's not even watching right now.
Right? He's doing rock star things on a Saturday night.
He is.
But like I said, wherever you're watching, welcome. Smash that like button. Smash that sub button if you're on Twitch. It's September. You can sub or gift subs for 20% off. So you can do all that lovely stuff. Certainly follow if you're digging the content. So guys, real quick, just real general, your overall thought of the show. Let's start with the man. Oops, wrong way. On location, Bill.
No, I thought it was a really good show. I think most of these Impact Plus specials have been pretty good. They're telling some good stories. The matches were really good. Obviously, if you know what they did, they did them over a couple nights, and then actually now 2 loops. They did the last 2 matches, not just 1, 2 matches, just last night. So I think that definitely by doing that, I think everybody is even more on their game. So they're able to play this out a little more. So the quality is definitely top notch for these shows. So I was impressed. I think this is a Victory Road, and this is obviously a long tradition in Victory Road. So I think they did that tradition proud with this pay-per-view.
There you go. Truck.
Yeah, I largely agree with Bill. I thought it was a really strong special. There's only been a couple of specials that have kind of fallen flat with me, and I can't even think which ones they were now. So they probably weren't even that bad. They just weren't fantastic.
Yeah, they just do so many of them now, like having them every month. They can't all be fantastic, but they're pretty good.
Yeah, but this was definitely, I thought, a very solid one. And to the finish is just, oh man, this is exactly what I'm here for. This is exactly what I wanted to see happen.
Great finish.
Yeah.
Great finish.
Oh yeah.
That doesn't get you by and Bound for Glory. I don't know what will.
Pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
that match alone, I don't even care what else is on the card. I'm buying the pay-per-view for that match. Put whatever else you want out there.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that, if that's the assuming that's the main event, I don't even need like a month's worth of a build for that, honestly. I mean, that one writes itself. I don't need what I'm saying is I don't need a huge story, Yes. That one sells itself. It's like and anyone else out there that thinks that, well, maybe, I don't know. You haven't been watching the product lately because, man, I mean, number one, Christian Cage is a legend. He may not be everyone's favorite, and I know there's varied opinions as far as him being champ right now, but as far as what he can do in the ring and his status, in wrestling history, you put him up against a guy who has been absolutely knocking it out of the park over the last 2 to 3 years in Impact Wrestling. This has the potential. I know we've been saying it, depending on what show you're watching and when, could be match of the year.
Yeah, no, that's shaping up to be. Josh has already put up some match of the year candidates already, and this match with Christian, who I think showing that he's fire and pretty good right now, and hopefully they'll all be ready to go, top of their game, like in shape, no injuries, stuff like that. This could be definitely a match of the year candidate for these two guys. They could really bring, because Josh, I think, brings out a lot in people, and Christian, his career just tells you that's what he does. Like that whole, it's not just a gimmick, his outwork thing. Like he really is a very good ring technician. So seeing these two Canadian boys go at it, Truck, that's going to be something to see in the main event.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Truck, for sharing Christian Cage with us. I mean, that's incredibly generous of you. And then Bill sharing the Canadian flag right there. Now, what are all the autographs you got on that one? Remind us again.
Well, that's Scott D'Amore and Eric Young. So some original Team Canada is on the flag.
That's not a bad thing right there. It's not bad. Thank you very much for the $5 tip there. Alton.
Hello from Germany.
Hello from Germany. How were the tapings right now, Bill? Did they sell enough tickets? So, yeah, talk about the crowd before we jump into the results here.
The crowd has always been very good at these Nashville tapings. I think I've said it before. I say the studios are in the upper 100 and change on capacity. For the pay-per-view, they got creative, maybe got even 200 in there. I'd say today, this afternoon, tonight, very good, just like before. All the tapings have been pretty crowded, and they've been selling a good amount of tickets. Yesterday afternoon, because it was a matinee, like a 3 o'clock start locally, even though the matinees have done well in the past, that one was a little lighter. So I think they may have moved some matches around to get the bigger matches on in the night to get the crowd going. But still, good show. And the crowd that was there, the crowd was into it. So they've been pretty into it. A lot of people have done repeats. You're probably seeing some of the same faces again. They're bringing it, so including mine. But it's been a good set of tapings for sure. I saw AEW fan guy who you sometimes see in the chat. I met him at the tapings today.
Oh, cool. So are we keeping a kayfabe? We putting a real name to them, or are we gonna keep it kayfabe?
Keep it kayfabe. If these people ever want to say their name, they're more than welcome to. But that's not for me to say.
No, that's fine. Yeah,
I also have a question for Bill on the tapings. Bill,
go ahead.
From tonight, there was at one point you were wearing a vest with a bunch of skulls on it. I didn't recognize that one. What is that from?
One with a bunch on the front or the back?
I think it was the front on the flaps. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what color it was?
I think it was white.
Yeah. Well, that's my honestly my first. Well, was it my first? Technically, my first. Because there was one I got, and then it didn't. There was an issue where it didn't come through, and then I got this other one, but then I wound up getting that original one too. So depending on how you do it, but it was it's a white vest. That's the one that says Mr. Impact Wrestling on the back, but skulls on the front, because Moose's kind of logo for a while was skulls.
Okay, that's why I didn't recognize it. Yeah, this guy has more gear than most independent wrestlers. I just want everybody to realize and recognize this.
Actually, I was getting a little heat. I'm not sure if it'll make it to TV or not, so I don't want to spoil it. But let's just say there was a wrestler that was saying, "Why don't you buy one of my jackets?"
Does anybody else have jackets?
Well, a lot of them come into the ring wearing something. So
yeah,
we'll see, because I don't know what's going to make on some of this. Like, some of the things feel like they're not really going to be on TV, but they could. So watch BTI, watch Impact, and who knows what you'll wind up seeing.
Bill's got heat. Bill's got heat with the locker room. He's going to have to go to AEW. Sorry,
that's hilarious. Well, he's actually been at a bunch of AEW shows. So
I probably, because I was just at last Wednesday's Dynamite and Rampages. They're taped together. But then I did a good amount that in Daly's place, and when they went to Philly before, and I'll be there, I guess, October 6th or so when they're in Philly again. And I know Dave is trying to convince me to go on Wednesday in New York, but I don't know, because it's going to be a busy week, because I got GCW on Thursday and Friday in New York. So Three New York trips, 3 nights in a row. I don't know if I can push that after coming back from Nashville. So we'll see what happens.
I don't know by that time if there's going to be tickets available. But what's interesting is you mentioned next Wednesday, and I heard from a certain scumbag late last night. He's going to be there.
The scumbag's going? So I might have to go just to run into the scumbag. Make sure he's still around.
You're going to have to file through about 18,000 people to find him, but well, there's a 1 in 18,000 chance you will. But yeah, I might even if I time it right, I might even get a run in on the review from the scumbag himself. By the way, he says hello to everyone. He's okay. I did a quick checkup on him, and yeah, I'm hoping to bring him back soon. But well, we know how this whole summer's gone, so. But he's okay. He's okay. He's still scumming it up, doing his thing. All right, let's jump into this. Oh, that's funny. I didn't even do my results for the last match. I just kind of left it.
You were so absorbed into it, you forgot to be a professional podcaster.
I was. I was a fan for a second. You know, you get the goosebumps, and you're like, woohoo! So, Impact Wrestling Victory Road for 2021 happened tonight. If you did not watch, you missed out on a hell of a show. This was a great card. A little bit of everything.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. We're going to get into spoilers.
We're not. That's a joke. We don't talk about spoilers. We don't talk about rumors.
We're going to...
I mean, for the show tonight, if you haven't watched Victory Road, watch it before you watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't watched the show, why are you watching a review of the show?
I don't know what people do.
Some people do that. I've seen some people just show up and support the podcast. I've seen people do that on STP. They're like, "Yeah, I didn't watch." A perfect example of that is when I would review Raw or SmackDown, and I didn't watch tonight. I just came to hang out with you. It's like, okay.
What do you expect me to talk about for 3 hours if you want to hang out?
Right. It's like I watched this so you don't have to. That was the ongoing gimmick for a while. But anyways, I know it's ridiculous, but all right. So we start out hot. Oh, and this is a question for everyone in the chat, no matter where you're watching. I'm very curious because we talked about this right before we went live. I'm very curious. Put in the chat how you watched it tonight. If you watched it, did you watch on the Insider on YouTube? Did you watch on Impact Plus, or did you watch on Fight TV? I'm very curious. So put it in the chat, and I'm just curious. And how was your watching experience too? But also, because I saw some. Live. Or did you watch it? Or were you there? All right, Bill.
There may be others.
Yeah, this is true. And,
there's actually quite a few people I've ran into that do watch TNI at these tapings.
Oh, that's tremendous. That's nice. Tremendous.
And we thank you.
Yes, no matter where.
And he's letting us, and Drewski here is letting us know how he watched it on his iPad.
On his iPad. Oh, there you go.
He's taking us very specifically. I like it.
Yeah, I know there's a few people that do watch Impact Plus on their iPad. They get it through and it's through Apple subscription or whatever. That's where the payment goes through.
Ooh, shame.
Oh, I'm not. No. I'm perfectly fine with that. I've paid for the app 3 different times.
You're right. If you're paying through a service and had trouble getting to it, then do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right. Then you got to do whatever you got to do. Yeah. Yes. We jokingly say, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." No, I get that. So, bonkers.
And I'm hearing a lot of good things here about Impact Plus. Everyone's seen to say everything was going good on Impact Plus, which is good.
Yeah, and that's how I watched it. And what's funny is I was going to try to watch it on the YouTube stream, and the link they put out went nowhere. So I don't even know if it ran tonight.
It did run. I checked it when I got back to the hotel.
Oh, did? Sure. Okay, yeah, so you were able to see.
I don't know when if it was delayed or anything, but it's on there. Because I know a lot of people get confused by it, but you got to look at the playlist. You got to go to the YouTube channel and go to the playlist, and they have a playlist just for the members. If you try to just look randomly, it isn't the easiest thing to find. Like that's something they need to do notifications on, or you can say your own, I believe. So like look for like new content from them, and you should be okay.
Right.
But they should make it easier, and especially if they tweet it out, they got to put the correct link in there. So someone's got to do better on that.
Yeah. Okay. So Rambo here says it was great on Insider. All right. So yeah, it's like
no delay at all. Beautiful.
That's the thing is the link they put out in the post that you get, like in the post section that they tell people about. Okay, this is coming tomorrow. That link did not work. So that's why I was.
All right, I'm hearing conflicting things. Keanu says it started 2 matches later on Insider.
And that's been Alicia's experience the last like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
so depending if you Insider, maybe certain people are finding it earlier than others. I'm not sure on that. We got to get that one all figured out.
Yeah. I suppose it depends on when you're getting the notification and when they're starting to watch live and stuff like that.
TU's is saying the same thing you said. So anyone that watched it on Fight, let us know if that's true. Did they go an hour earlier than it was supposed to?
And that's so weird. Yeah, because I was when I couldn't get the link going on YouTube, and I couldn't get logged in on Impact Plus on the site itself. I went to Fight TV just to see if that was an option for $10, and they were running it an hour earlier. So I'm like, well, that's strange. So then I had to double check and see when I was going to be doing all this live stuff. So, but nonetheless, we are here. Thanks again to Steve from TNI UK. Much love, brother, for hanging out during the live reaction. Greatly appreciated. All right, so we start out hot here with three-way, an X Division three-way, Maclin versus TJP.
You have to pay 3 times for that kind of action, Jabo.
Versus right?
Just the way he phrased it, we start off hot tonight with a three-way. Like, Jay,
that's real
did
hot.
You do that on purpose? Because if not, I love you even more.
No, that's just usually how I start all the
reviews.
That's
how Jabo rolls.
That's how I roll.
I don't doubt it. He's talked about that on the family dinner open to Patreons, where Jay shoots hard.
It wasn't meant to sound naughty or anything. It was a three-way dance. It's 1v1v1. I don't know how else you say that.
Hold on, calm down, just breathe.
We got a 5-hour review coming here. Maclin versus TJP versus Petey Williams. Who wants to go first on this one?
I'm Al TJP's biggest fan, Truck.
There we go. Oof.
Yeah, Mark's not here, so.
There we go.
His jacket tonight.
And plus, there's Petey in here, the Canadian hero, little Petey Pump.
Yeah, I hope I look as good as he does at his age, because that guy, he just doesn't age. It's
amazing.
Yeah.
I hear he even has a podcast.
I don't really have a heck of a lot to say about this one. Most of the specials and most of the pay-per-views that we've seen recently have started off with a match that's absolutely grabbed me by the throat. This one didn't. It wasn't that it was bad. It just, to me, it felt like there's no stakes here. This is one of Maclin's first non-jobber matches, and he's not going to lose it because they're trying to build him into something. So, I didn't really feel too interested in what the outcome was going to be. We've had several three-way dances with TJP as a participant, and he's always turned them into something that's really interesting to watch. And I don't particularly like three-man matches. I think they're much too formulaic most of the time. But he finds ways to be creative that I really enjoy. This was not the strongest one that we've seen this year, though, in my opinion.
All right. I'm a little surprised by that, but okay. All right. Bill, what'd you think?
I thought it did. It told the story that we've been seeing BTI a lot. This angle was playing out. Obviously, Maclin's being built up in the X division, and you did something here where Petey hit the destroyer. You protected the destroyer,
yes,
but he didn't get the win.
Yeah,
Maclin was able to take advantage of it as a heel and take out Petey, and then still cover TJP, who Petey had hit with the destroyer. So I think it kind of told the story for what it was. I guess it's just if you have an issue with Maclin really being involved in the angle to begin with. If you think that's the right place for him or not, then you're either going to agree with it or not. I think for him being in the X division, which I'm good with because I believe in the no limits X division, I'm all for putting a lot of variations of people, not just high flyers, not just that type of thing. Cruiserweights. I'm into like the Samoa Joe X division, the Kurt Angle X division. Give me anybody could show up in there, male, female, big guy, little guy. I'm for that. So I think Maclin, I'll be interested to see how much it plays in. Like, does he just become an unstoppable force in the X division? I don't know if I'm ready to get on that bandwagon yet, because I think he could get slowed down in the X division. Like, he goes all the way to an X division title. I don't know if I agree with that, but I'm okay with him being in there and taking this first match here.
Well, and at least because he came from WWE. How many times have we seen in this company before where someone from the WWE comes in and they get hot shotted to something and they win it like in 2 seconds? And this, honestly, I prefer this way a lot better. I mean, he's going through everyone who's legit. He's going through X division legends to get to that point. He's taking them out one by one by one. So I mean, it's whether you like the guy or not, whether you get the push or not. I still think it's better storytelling than the other one. I saw someone in the chat here saying that it's because of Deonna Purrazzo.
They're not really connecting them. I think the photographer has taken a few pics, but they haven't storyline linked them together at all.
No, if you didn't follow them on Twitter, you'd have
Sami and Havoc. After all this time, they've never been linked together.
Right.
TV.
Same with Su Yung and
Rich. Yeah, Rich. Maybe just like a couple. Like, I think when they were both champion, they did a publicity shot just to have it.
Yes,
but no storyline.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say it's because of her that he got hired either.
Correct.
I mean, he'd have to prove himself either way.
Now, I see Randy here is pointing out that, I don't know, TJP may have put this out there that he's taking a break because he took the pin. I know some people were like, oh, maybe TJP shouldn't have taken the pin, but I don't know. I can't confirm or deny. I've been kind of off social media. So, but yeah, I don't know if he put something out there saying he's not doing anything, because I think I thought he was booked for New Japan shows coming up in September and October, but
I think you're right. I saw him talking about that. Yeah.
All right. So look, okay, Mayor's making a lot of comments here about the elephant in the room. Look, I'm not going to talk about it tonight. I mean, yes, I know what happened with Dreamer. I know what happened with Flair. I'm not going to address it tonight because, number one, I haven't watched it. I know what was said, and I know everything. That all the controversial stuff is all horrible, but I'm not gonna give it any content tonight. I'm gonna do that at another time after I watch everything, and I'll either create a panel here on TNI or over on Smash This Podcast, and maybe we'll even invite Mrs. Bonin and let her come in and say how much she wants to chop off Ric Flair's dick.
Honestly, we should. If we're addressing it on TNI, obviously an Alicia should be there. If Smash is doing it, Mrs. J-Bone should be there. I think that this is a bigger discussion. I think there's definitely, and I've been on the road. I can't say I've watched it. I know a lot of the details of this issue to begin with, and obviously pretty confirmed stuff went down that's inappropriate, wrong, not good, definitely not appropriate and shouldn't. As we've seen in wrestling the last 2 years, there's a reason a lot of this stuff has been starting to build ahead, and it should have earlier, which it didn't. And people that don't take it seriously will say they're not the ones doing it, but you got to call that out too. And you got to say everybody should be in this together. That's plain and simple.
Right.
Like, because you saw when people are like, they don't want this stuff in their locker rooms. That's how everybody should feel. You can't, if it's that whole thing. Like, if you're going to ignore something, then you didn't do it, but it's on you. You got to call it out. This isn't like everybody for themselves. You got to look out for each other. That's just
Ronan saying get the nurse to be on. That's a good idea if she's available. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure Trent could make that happen. And I wouldn't be surprised if Trent would want to be a part of that conversation just because he works in the industry too. He'd be a great person to, whether he's watching the current stuff or not is not the issue. I'd love to have him part of the conversation. So, but that's all the attention we're giving it tonight. So just
we're talking Victory Road.
Like I said, if you want to discuss it amongst yourselves in the chat, go ahead. But we're gonna keep going on the pay-per-view here. All right. So Maclin gets a victory here. I really like this because, I think it's a good storytelling. It's certainly building up Maclin as a big bad guy in the X division, and he does have a different feel to him. I know some people weren't like gung ho on well, what's his gimmick? Well, he really doesn't have that big of a gimmick. He's just a badass, and it's some people don't get that. Some people do. I get it. I dig it. He's taking them out one by one. He took care of two legendary X Division guys tonight. I think that speaks volumes. So, but we'll see where it goes from here. Obviously, after, and we'll get to that later, after we saw what happened at the end of the pay-per-view, that certainly is going to leave a lot of things open as to where it could go. So
yeah, we'll Jonathan in the chat, as we get to that, the last two matches, I'll address your comment there about Saban and Josh. Not as
Oh yeah. Oh, as far as what was said afterwards or something.
Yeah, just want to know. Here, I'll all right.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
Is there a possibility we get a heel Saban versus Josh for the world title down the line? They worked well together, as we'll go into later. But obviously, if Josh were to win the world title at Bound for Glory, I definitely could see Saban being in a line to go after that title. There's no doubt about that.
He's been on a roll lately.
Yeah, he's been fantastic in the ring. I think his character is great right now. He's a face, but we've seen heel Saban before. We can definitely go that route again. There's no doubt.
Oh yeah, and even in his whatever you call it, what he did with Moose was kind of heelish too. It was very interesting. So, but yeah,
Swingers Palace.
Yeah, and that's like the other side of it too. That's like him being goofy. So who knows what Saban's going to do next? He's pretty much the most unpredictable guy in the company right now, in my professional podcasting opinion. All right, next. This was a match out of nowhere. I absolutely love this. There was it wasn't for anything. This was just another way to get a few more people on the show, and I'm not complaining about it because this was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This was a bonus 5-way. We had Laredo Kid versus Trey Miguel versus Jake something versus John Skyler versus Taurus.
This was the other match that was filmed yesterday.
Okay. So yeah, and that was a great way to do it. Yeah, so I guess for timing's sake, if they wanted it to go a little longer, that was a great way to do it. Because I don't think this match was that long, but this is just another example of everybody getting their shit in,
I will say I think there was another reason this got refilmed, because it had another character in it.
Oh.
And due to circumstances in the wrestling world, I think there's a reason they eliminated the character.
No shit. Huh.
So I think
it was the right call. There was a reason the character from the video game went away for a while and came back as a different name. And I think that like right now it's too much of a hot button issue, especially with the locker room. So I think it was a good call to adjust that.
Okay,
it would in poor taste,
especially with you're talking about with Daphne. Okay,
Correct.
so my first guess is just because what we were just talking about with Tommy. I thought maybe Tommy Dreamer was thrown
Tommy
in.
Dreamer was not in this match.
Okay, so no, that is.
Although after the Ace Austin feud, I'd put nothing past it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, maybe we talk about that in an After Dark because I got things to say about that.
Oh boy. But yeah, well, that's very interesting. So yeah, a little pulling back of the curtain there. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, and I don't think
that's
anybody
appropriate.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, it's
if you have the ability, luckily, by the taping schedule to do something like that, that makes all the sense in the world to do it.
Yeah, and it certainly isn't going to hurt anyone that's underneath the mask or anything like that. It's just big picture wise, it's a good call.
And I love everybody in here. At least Skyler took the L. What's everybody?
I'm in this guy's corner. I am in this guy's corner now.
You like
Skyler?
Skyler?
Won me over tonight. Oh yeah, he won me over tonight. Yeah,
that's interesting.
It's Skyler winning you over. Remember, as a heel, is he winning you over? Do you like seeing him on Impact TV? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, from I'll say this again. From day one, me seeing him, I hope he was a guy that was sticking around. He is a many-year veteran. Someone said in the watch long, I think he said he's a 14-year vet in the ring. So I mean, the guy's been around, and I can't believe no one's scooped him up. The guy's incredibly talented. So, and just knowing that now. To have a veteran presence like that, whether you've made it to a big platform or not, it says something, it just shows how hungry he is. And now he's got that chance, which is going to make him even hungrier. So Truck, you're saying he won you over tonight.
Oh yeah. I mean, not that I was opposed to him or anything. I'd never seen him before. When he started showing up on BTI. But the little bit I had seen him, I thought, this guy's pretty good. But tonight, I thought he could have won it. There was a couple of points where I thought, man, they're giving this guy the win tonight, aren't they? I mean, he did it a couple of times. That spear through the ropes, man, that looked nice. I really liked that.
Yeah, that was something. I'm gonna have to watch that back because I don't remember that. But yeah, anytime you do something like that, you're taking a big risk.
I really loved how he worked the crowd too. I thought he was so good at that. That little slide on his knees, twist, and then kiss to the crowd. Oh.
Chef's
nice
kiss.
Work. Nice work. Chef kiss.
Yeah, little thing like that to make that front row hot at you.
And to give himself a lot of personality. And that's really what I'm looking for, that combination of stuff like that spear through the ropes that makes me go, oh man, that looked hard. And then that character work that makes me, want to see this guy win, lose, or get his ass kicked or whatever. Not everybody does that. A lot of people don't really. They focus more on, I'm going to do this move and this move and this move, and don't really think about, how do I make it actually mean something?
Right. To tell
and
a
I really
story.
like his vest. I really like his vest. So, Bill, when you see him next time, you let him know there's a guy in Saskatchewan who's going to buy your vest if you'll sell it to him.
He does have a nice vest. I will say that. It's got the angel wings on the back and all. Pretty nice.
That's cool.
Very nice.
Kind of biker-esque. Is that a word? I don't know.
It is now.
You're
a professional podcaster.
It is. It's a J-Bone-ism.
But this is how do you do, fellow Marks? Hello.
Fellow, we're missing our local Mark. But that's okay.
The only one that legally changed his name to be a Mark.
Right. That's
really how big of a mark he is.
That really means something. He's a mark for everything.
Got custom license plates and everything.
Does he really?
Yeah, it's a huge mark on his car.
Yeah. Well, since we're talking marks and everything else, I'm feeling feisty. I'm fine with all these comments tonight. Let's bring Armin's here.
Oh boy!
If Deanna dated Jake something, he would have that role, and Maclin would have lost 5 random. Man, let's keep it real. I disagree, because there's been a lot of couples in Impact Wrestling, and I feel everyone's earned their way. Because, like, let's look at Eddie Edwards. Did they put a title on Alicia Edwards? Like, she was in different roles here and there, and she's been with the company a long time. And Eddie's been a top guy, multiple-time world champion. So I don't really see that. I think everyone earns their spot. Deanna's been fantastic, but I don't think that has really anything to do with Steve Maclin.
Yeah, and I mean, we're completely on the outside. That's, rumor mongering at its absolute worst. It's disrespectful to both of them and disrespectful to the company to insinuate that that's how they make their decisions when there's absolutely no proof.
Yeah, like, well, might that have happened in other companies at some point? Like, maybe.
Absolutely.
I'm sure there's been instances, but at least in this instance with Impact, I don't see it. I'd have to go back to see if there was a time where maybe it's happened, but I definitely don't think this is one right here. Like, if you told me Steve Maclin just came in, won the X title or something, maybe there'd be a little bit more to it. But I don't think there's been anything proven with that right now.
Yeah, like if they booked them to be like an instant power couple or something, then that'd
something
be
like
something. That. The first thing off the top of my head, as far as including a significant other and or
there's
wife,
one. I think I know where you're going.
Is Kurt Angle, Jeff Jarrett, and
I didn't think you were going there. I see that, but I thought you might go Taya and Johnny because they came in and kind of ruled the place quickly, but I think they both were worthy of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Karen. I couldn't think of her name. I'm sorry.
Karen, yes. That was like real life stuff going on there too. So that kind of made it intriguing.
And that was honestly, me as a fan, that was a big turnoff. That made me real uncomfortable. I didn't like that. Now, they didn't go as far as to do something physical with Karen as in, okay, now we're going to start, at least I don't remember them putting her in matches. She was out there plenty, doing the manager stuff or whatever, valet, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's off the top of my head. That's the first thing I thought of. But anyways, but yeah, this was a blast. This one really, you could have guessed any of them winning this one. And it wasn't for anything, but they could certainly change that. They could turn this into, hey, remember that match at Victory Road? Well,
yes,
because so-and-so won, now we're going to make them go after this. Or that gives them an up on everyone else going for the X division title. Or whatever. They could certainly do that really easily. So, Bill, what else did you think of this match? And then we'll move on.
No, I thought it was good. I think it definitely, as you said, like everybody got their stuff in. It didn't make anyone really look bad. Laredo kid, he's come back, and it looks like he's now a fixture in the company, which is great to see. Yeah. I liked Laredo's first run. I'm always happy to see another luchador on the roster.
I don't remember his first run. It sounds horrible. When was he in there?
Well, he came in around the time of the other luchadors that came in after the Global Force era. So it was.
Oh, okay.
Well, like you had Hio del Fantasma. You had that first one with Aerostar and all those guys, and he came in kind of at the tail end, Drago, and he kind of came in the tail end of that. So it was like whipped through Conan and all that.
I was really watching then. Why don't I remember this? Oh, whatever. Anyways, I'm old. We continue. Well, yeah. So Laredo kid wins this one. Now they could certainly do something with him in the future, where like his win over five in this 5-way means something. It turns into something for him. We'll have to wait and see. Next, we got Tenille Dashwood versus.
Hold on, and D-Back here is saying that Laredo Kid is officially on the roster.
Yeah,
he is on the roster page. Yeah, so
same with Mickey and FinJuice.
I don't know how long he's sticking around. If he's actually signed a contract,
you never know in Impact Wrestling who signs a contract until until Impact or somebody on the roster says that they're officially signed.
Like it came out within the last couple of days that Rhino just signed a new multi-year deal. Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a guy I don't want going anywhere.
Since we don't have the bite anymore, good for War Machine Rhino.
Yeah. Yeah, and that guy can still go and still.
And still play a really big role. He can help tell interesting stories, and he can help make stories feel like they mean something.
Right. He is one of those, and I've said it a billion times, and I'll say it another billion times. When they're bringing in veterans like that they don't stink up the joint.
And Laredo Kid was paired with Angel Garza a lot back then. That is correct.
Oh, okay.
And I was a fan of his as well. I wish they signed both of them.
And I was a fan of Angel Garza too, but I didn't like it that he was working hurt, and it showed a lot in his matches. That's what I didn't like. I'm like, okay, you're not helping this guy with the whole pants gimmick, and that's lovely, and that got a pop. But when your matches are getting affected by your injury, that's not good.
The bad part was he had that arm injury, and he was wrestling one arm half the time. And I was like, he was still doing pretty good with one arm, but it just didn't work out at the time.
It didn't do what he's doing now, or what he was doing once he hit up north. But anyways, all right. So knockouts match next. Taylor Wilde versus Tenille Dashwood. Taylor Wilde is back, and she's got all sorts of opposition, but she's not alone. Well, she ended up being alone later. But so Tenille Dashwood comes down with Kaleb with a K and Madison Rayne. I'm loving this pairing. I really feel like it's working.
Yeah, me too.
As far as like a knockouts tag team or whatever you want to call it. Taylor Wilde didn't come out alone either. She came out with Jordynne Grace and Rachel Ellering. Have you noticed?
Turning heel any second now, everybody. So keep track. It's happening.
Man,
it's happening before our
very eyes. That will never happen.
We'll get right back to that one. But yeah, let's start with Truck. Truck, what did you think of this knockouts match?
I thought it was interesting. I think they played it out in kind of two different phases, because the part of the match that happened before the other four got thrown out and sent to the back was very different from the match that happened after those four were gone. Leading up to the outsiders getting thrown out, Tenille kept things super slow and was really, really trying to grind Taylor down with all of these, we call them rest holds, but they're supposed to be submissions. And then after that, Taylor forced her to wrestle, basically. And I thought it was really interesting that they were so conscientious about telling that kind of story, like recognizing that these four getting thrown out is like the turning of a page in the story that we're telling in this match. So we're going to do something completely different now. I liked it. Yeah, I liked it. And Tenille's really turned me around since she came back after she was sick for a while, wasn't she, Bill? There was something health related.
Well, she has that. She has that. I don't know if you want to call it a skin condition.
Psoriasis.
That's right. Yeah, that caused issues. I believe, like more her Ring of Honor run. But she's been at most of the tapings. I know there were some delays, and I think that was maybe even storyline related. So I don't like to ever assume on something like that. But I think she's been excellent. And I got to give a lot of credit. I don't even know if I give him that much heat. I think he just wants me to, I think he goes after me more than I go after him. But Kaleb with a K has been fantastic in his role.
Yes.
Oh, he has been. Yeah, and it's all character based now, and he's knocking it out of the park, and he's doing not even half the work he did before, because his X Division run during the GF, I think it was right around the GFW time. His matches with Trevor Lee, I know I'm forgetting a few, and I apologize, but man, he had some he had some great X Division matches where he just knocked it out of the park. Was he in that tag team with Trevor Lee, or am I thinking of someone else?
Yeah, he was in the Cult of Lee.
The Cult of Lee. That's
were managed by a hurricane.
Oh God, yeah, I totally.
No, they were the Helms. They were the Helms Dynasty.
That's.
I don't want to mix them all up because there was the Helms Dynasty, and then there was the Cult of Lee.
Okay. I wasn't watching. I don't recognize any of these names you guys are throwing around.
Well, it was a weird time because they started to incorporate a lot of stuff from AAA and Lucha Underground at that time. So, but it was they started bringing in a ton of new faces: Mac, Johnny Impact, Taya, all the luchadors, and Brian Cage. It was really a wild time. And it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I thought this one was a lot of fun. Tenille Dashwood. Yeah, you're absolutely right as far as like the start of the match and the finish of the match felt different. But then I forget who was reffing this one, but he threw out all
Spencer.
the. It was a Spencer. Okay, front of the show.
And
threw out
an emote on the Discord.
Right?
Is he on the Discord?
Yeah.
I didn't know Daniel was on the Discord.
Yeah, he is.
Well, as an emote, so.
As an emote, I thought he was
not himself.
Like Kevin Martin.
Kevin Martin's on the Discord. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, also jump on the Discord.
Yes,
link
please
below.
do. If you're not, that link
Get
is
the conversation going.
Some
maniac will be up all night, I'm sure.
Yeah, right. But it's great to see Taylor Wilde get the win here. I didn't really think she was going to get the win here because it feels
once everybody got thrown out, I figured but before that, I figured she's going to get beat here.
Because it feels like this Tenille and Madison Rayne team is like ramping up for something. Like, why would they get put in a team together? And I'm not saying that Taylor Wilde's going to get a tag team partner, but it still feels like Madison Rayne with Tenille Dashwood feels like there's a purpose here. You know what I mean?
Well, Rosemary and Havoc need somebody to come after them. So,
they need tag teams, period.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
But, I think they have the makings of a strong tag team. And I know a lot of people have been saying the Knockouts need more tag teams. I think you're getting one right here, developing right in front of your eyes. So, look keep watching.
Oh, yeah.
We do have one of your favorites here in the chat. Dave Meltaz, no relation. He wants to know if Rhino could go in the Hall of Fame, J-Bone.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and there's so many people that are either have come in recently or are on the Impact roster now that could. Absolutely.
There is. Honestly, it's getting to the point where you could make a case on the current roster. I'd say at least a half dozen names you could say should be considered for the Hall of Fame. Depends what you want to put them in. But there's a lot of people with a lot of titles, a lot of accomplishments. You can make a strong case right now with the mix on the roster because you have people that have Chris Sabin held the title 8 times, X Division, world champion, tag team champion. That's a hell of a resume. Madison Rayne, she's what, a 5-time knockout champion? Like these people have they have strong resumes to be considered Rhino.
They're not stinking up the joint. So, but yeah, this one was great. I was a little surprised by Taylor Wilde's win, but I'm not complaining. I love Taylor Wilde. It's great to see her get this win since she's been back now. For whatever reason, she was gone. You know, it could have been work related. I'm not sure.
It was border stuff.
Oh, okay.
Ontario keeps changing the rules on what you can do and what you can't do, and she got caught up in that.
Oh, that's never good. But nonetheless, she's here now, so happy for whatever they put her in. I'm sure it's going to be good. So, but yeah, that was one of the 2 knockouts matches tonight. I thought there was going to be 3, but they didn't put Deonna Purrazzo in any defense, like surprise defenses or anything. So, but that's all right. I'm sure whatever they got coming up for her between knockouts, knockdown, and Bound for Glory, she's going to be one busy.
Sure she'll be kept pretty busy.
There you go. So saith Bill. He was there. Believe the man. There you go. So what's he doing? I don't know. Anyway.
He is so good at not even hinting at anything, and I love that about him. It's like the main event. He saw that. He was there he was last night taped, right?
Didn't hint nothing.
Didn't hint anything.
Nothing.
Didn't say a word. Didn't even give us a wink.
Oh, by the way, if you're trying to avoid spoilers, what did we say right before we went live? Avoid the hashtag. What was that?
Avoid the hashtag Victory Road on Twitter. I'm seeing several accounts posting spoilers from the tapings using that hashtag. I don't know if they're legit or not, but I did accidentally see a few things that I'm not going to bring up because I don't want to know if it's true or not. So
yeah.
So maybe just give that a couple of days to wash it out.
There you go.
And I wholeheartedly agree with this Hall of Famer suggestion.
Dixie Carter.
Sweet Auntie. I know she always causes division, especially among the TNI faithful. But I think you just look at the longevity of the company, big part of it, the TV deals, big part of it. You can criticize things, you can criticize anything.
Sure.
I
But not everything's
can criticize
perfect.
things right now.
Without her, without Jeff Jarrett, there's no TNA. Without Dixie Carter, there's no continuing TNA. Without Anthem and Scott D'Amore, there's no today TNA. So a lot of people have to do with it, and she's one of them. So she definitely deserves gratitude.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, were all her decisions perfect? But no. But overall, she kept it going, So,
And she's still a really big booster of the company. If you follow
She does. She definitely still puts it over. So I'm all about it.
As far as I know, she's even still watching because she seems to know about all the
She knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And obviously, we can't forget the guy that's in the main event tonight, Christian Cage.
Absolutely.
He's in contention, too.
Yeah, he's got quite a history. Yeah. All right, next we've got here No DQ, Matt Cardona versus Rohit Raju. Raju out there with Shera and Chelsea Green even making an appearance in this one. This one was a lot of fun. This one, honestly, could have went either way. I wouldn't have been mad about it. I was just really happy that this match was able to happen because it's like you think about, someone comes in the company and you're like, oh, I want to see this guy wrestle this guy. I want to see him wrestle this guy. And this is one that I didn't even think about. Rohit Raju versus Matt Cardona. And I was like, wait a minute. That's going to be a hell of a match. And it was.
And they were going back and forth on social media a lot leading up to this. And if you know, like the Deathmatch King, Matt Cardona, like his new persona out there, he's really been leaning into it. So this is like the first we really get to see it somewhat, but it's not the heel Deathmatch Cardona that's out there. It's still a face kind of more hardcore version, but
it's still it's not to that extreme. But
maybe it's the beginning of a turn. Well, who knows?
Oh no. That smooch at the end, really shocked Chelsea Green. She wasn't ready for that one. I think her cast almost fell off for that one. But yeah. So, Bill, what are your thoughts on this one?
No, I enjoyed this. I obviously, I love giving heat to Rohit, but I think he loves that back. He actually was giving me a hard time as I left the tapings. He told Luscious Lawrence to take me out of the building. He said I overstayed my welcome and I should get the boot. So,
nice.
But I always have fun with Rohit.
Luscious Lawrence. Well, that's a big guy too.
Oh, he's a big guy, so good thing.
Did you see Cal?
I did not see Cal.
Really?
So I don't think Cal's at this set of tapings.
Okay.
Now, OVW, I know, had a house show last night, so maybe he was there for that. And like, then it doesn't make sense to come if you can't probably do the whole loop. So, but I did not see him. So I don't think he was at this one. Gotcha. Good match. And it's good to see Rohit kind of get a spot again. I know a lot of our listeners, because Rohit's a good friend of the show, was like, oh, what's going on with Rohit? What's he going to do? Once again, being in an angle with Cardona is about one of the best things you can do in wrestling right now, because the guy is killing it, especially social media and stuff. We've always known that with him. He has a ton of fans. Actually, he did the meet and greet. Him and Myers were doing the meet and greet before the night session, and it by far had the most people than any of the other ones. So there is something to that. So you're getting a rub just working with Cardona. So I think that's good for Rohit. Chelsea getting involved was good. I liked what was going on with Shera, radio silence everywhere. But you know from seeing this is not over. So you're going to keep seeing this go on, which is good for Rohit.
So you think it's going to continue?
Yeah. These guys are too big of talkers to let this just go away.
All right. Truck, what did you think?
I'm glad to hear you say that, Bill, because I don't want this to end ever. I absolutely love this match. I wasn't really sure what to expect because, like you said, Cardona just did this deathmatch thing. I wasn't sure how hard he wanted to continue to go. This was an absolutely brutal match. That radio silence on the outside to Shera, that made me jump out of my chair. That looked like it hurt so much. I think it is unfortunate, though, that Zack Ryder is such a huge coward and has to hide behind Chelsea Green. I think it's really disgraceful that Impact allows this guy, who is obviously so afraid of Rohit, to continue to work in this company and draw a paycheck. Yeah.
Can't even say it with a straight face.
If folks aren't following their interactions on Twitter, please do so. Rohit and Matt are just killing it. They're doing fantastic promo work in 280 characters or whatever.
Now, have they been? I don't think they have. Has BTI highlighted any of that? I don't think they have. As part of their thing,
not that I can remember. But if they're not, they should.
Kind of company driven. That's what they highlight. But we know a lot of the BTI crew. They're friends of the show. I think you got to go in there and highlight some of this stuff. Like, let's break a wall down with this. Forget the forbidden door. Let's get more of the, because they're doing great work. And if you're not on social media and just watching TV, you should know about some of it.
They're putting a lot of effort into it, and they're really creative. Rohit especially. He is just so good at this. And it comes across every time he opens his mouth or every time he has a match. I really love this match, partially because this is the sort of stuff he does in AAW, which I absolutely love. And I want him to be able to show that off to more people, because he is so friggin' good. Even when he was with Daisy Heat Squad there and eating a pin every 20 minutes, just watching him, I could tell this guy is really talented. And I'm really happy that he's getting this opportunity. Like you said, Cardona's a huge deal.
Wait, how happy are you?
Super.
Turn that frown upside down, my man.
Anyhow, go follow them on Twitter. You'll be glad you did.
Hell yeah. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. I love the use of chairs, and it even looked like that radio silence to Rohit at the end looked like he even caught corner of a chair there, which made me even happy, because it's like, yeah, see, that was smart. He planted that right there for a reason. Of course he did, right? But yeah, Chelsea Green comes in at the end, smartly not using her cast. Don't use that cast. We don't want any.
I still can't believe she really hasn't used it this whole time. It just shocks me as someone.
Isn't she healed? Because she did like an ROH or an NWA show a little while ago, and she wasn't wearing the cast, was she? You're not sure?
I do not point out these things. It's like noticing a clean microphone in a show. If the cast wasn't there, I pretend it didn't happen.
Never mind. I won't ask stupid questions.
That is interesting. That is interesting because I didn't see that show. So that would have been interesting to see. So she's certainly not doing a Bob Orton with that or anything like that. Or is it Bob Orton Jr. actually?
The Ace.
The Ace, yeah. So yeah, Matt Cardona gets the win here. So it sounds like from these two guys, it's not going to end anytime soon. But we'll see.
Fingers crossed.
maybe it'll end in a cage or something.
Should end with a death match.
Dear God. Hey, can Nick Gage be a special referee then? Maybe.
I'm for it.
There you go. We got FinJuice versus the Bullet Club next. Chris Bay and HIKULEO versus Juice Robinson and David Finlay. This was a lot of fun. You kind of knew who was going to win this one just because HIKULEO just made his debut. This is his in-ring debut with Chris Bay, and they got the old school music. That was great to see. I really like that. So it seems like they're like all aboard on this whole Bullet Club thing for them. 2 suites everywhere. They're not holding back. Uh-oh.
Picked up something at the merch stand.
Oh,
that I did put on social media that I would do. Hold on. Oh, what?
Oh, no. He's tearing the place up. Bill, you're going to get you're going to get a bill for the damage to the hotel room. What are you doing?
They always do.
Is this what I think it is? Is this he's got it. The Finesse Club. That is awesome. That is a great looking shirt.
I know a lot of people always ask about merch at the shows. They're doing some good deals. The new shirts that they had, 2 for $40 US. Not a bad $20 a shirt if you buy 2, $25 if you buy 1, but nice. So don't have to, obviously, if you're there, pay for shipping, but you got cash, you're in and out.
Nice.
And you can buy from Luscious Lawrence.
Oh, was he running the table?
Him and Gustavo from OVW working the merch table.
Gustavo. Now, from what I know, he's the one that tags with Callihan. I think. If I'm
not
thinking
sure.
of
I've seen him in singles action, but he may have also.
Okay. But I think they brought him up here a few times with Cal. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. But anyways, but yeah, this was a great tag match. Love this one, back and forth. And the more and look, I'm still really new to this whole FinJuice thing. I appreciate them both separately. I didn't feel like they were really working together as a team until they really like once they got the gear in sync, then it really felt like something. When they first showed up, I was like, who are these guys? I know where they're from, I know who they are, but it really feels like they're clicking now. And I don't even know how long FinJuice has been around as a team. I know Juice has been in a tag team with a few different people, like even Callihan for a cup of coffee during a tag tournament a few years ago. Death Juice, I believe, was the name of their team. That's a great
That's a good team name.
Isn't it? I love it. Death Juice. It sounds like something you want to wake up to.
I think there's a coffee called that, I'm guessing.
Well, no, there's a water called Death. It's not Death Water. Maybe it is Death Water. It's Death something. Drink of death. I don't know what. Anyways, Truck. What did you think of this tag match?
This is when I went to make dinner, so I'm sure it was great. Chris,
were you baking bread?
I'm baking bread tomorrow. Okay. I just finished. Yeah, this week's bread was just finished off today, so I get to bake new bread tomorrow.
Did you eat the whole
I guess
damn
it's
loaf?
not in the States.
2 loaves, bud.
Oh,
You ate
two loaves.
You ate 2 loaves? How are you not getting? How are you not getting
Carbs.
any weight? It's all carbs, bro.
Yeah, but it's like actual bread. It's whole wheat, but it's not a bunch of sugar and
Good wheat.
fluff.
I'm a fan of wheat.
Oh, so it's
Whole
not that.
wheat.
It's not that
Red
processed
Fife.
stuff.
Red Fife, everybody, spelt.
Oh, there you go. A
Buckwheat.
lot of people know this. It's called liquid death, Jabo.
That's it. That's it. Liquid death.
That sounds like a good finisher.
Liquid death. Sounds like something from Venom and Marvel. Now I'm just thinking about eating
We
a
said
lot
Jabo
of
for a
bread.
loop.
You got me thinking about food now. Damn it.
I'll mail you a loaf, Jack.
Sweet.
But I'll mail you some frozen dough so you can bake it yourself and get that fresh bread experience.
Oh, we have frozen dough around here, but I don't even know if it's any good.
Which one's Jay?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want some bread too? I'll mail you some as well.
It's one of those moments.
Aerial.
Flying bread. Oh shit. Bill, your thoughts on this match?
No, I liked it. I think FinJuice, former tag champs now. I think they've added to the tag division once again. I know a lot of people have been opinionated about the tag team divisions and Impact. So I think they've added something. I think the Bullet Club. I know a lot of people, if you're a Ring of Honor fan, you may have reservations about a group like the Bullet Club because that probably didn't, it was great for a while, but then it hurt the company because that became your main event and then they all left your main event high and dry. So to start a new company, but
there's that. But
push them to the top. Right now, Bullet Club is a good storyline, but it's not the focal point of the show. So I think Impact's using the positives about having the Bullet Club or the Finesse Club as we now have come to know it. Yes, Finesse Club. Impact, shop impact.com.
And I gotta say that the Impact one looks better than his Pro Wrestling Tees one.
It does. No, that's a great shirt. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, I gotta get it. I didn't know if they'd have it or not. I actually went to the merch stand, saw the deal. I was going to buy 2 other shirts. But then all of a sudden, Gustavo, he's the man at the merch stand. He knows where everything is in the boxes. He's like, oh. And then he's like, I'm like, what? You have Finesse Club shirts and they're not out? Then all of a sudden, they're out everywhere. Everyone's welcome. So, you're welcome. But
there we go.
I think they're doing the right thing with the Bullet Club. Like they're using them just enough, but not to overdo it. Because that's the risk of the Bullet Club. In New Japan, in Ring of Honor, it's like NWO back in WCW. It became the show. In Ring of Honor, a couple years ago, it became the show. It can't become the show. It has to become its own storyline, part of the show. And they're doing a great job with that right now.
The revolving
door.
The revolving door.
Yeah.
And it still makes Chris Bay feel special, especially giving him the real Bullet Club music.
Correct. The Bullet Club music's a key. Like that makes it real. And he was anointed by Jay White because this is a different version. Like the Good Brothers are different Bullet Club than this.
Is this like, because I don't know anything about Bullet Club, is this like Wolfpack and Black and White?
In a way it is. Like they're OG Bullet Club and they're like, that's what the Good Brothers would say. And they're like, I don't know if they actually have a name for it, but I just think like they're the current Bullet Club.
Okay.
Right. OG Bullet Club is Carl Anderson. Oh shit! What's his name?
But it's not like these are rival versions of the same faction, right? Because Black and White and Wolfpack were, at odds.
It was close. It was close. It was close to becoming that right before all the guys left for AEW. It was real close. Finn Balor, aka Prince Devitt, is like the originator. He was the leader. Who is the one half of God that was the original guy? Tongaloa? Tama Tonga. Not Tongaloa. Tamatanga. Gallows came in shortly after that. Young Bucks, and then Kenny Omega, and that was. Oh, I can't forget AJ Styles. That was that first couple of years right there. They all really, plowed through that company and made things interesting. Oh, I'm forgetting the biggest guy of the group. Fale.
Bad luck.
Bad luck, Fale.
Don't worry about your bad luck, Fale.
It's. I don't think he said it like that, but he should have. It would have been funny as hell. What the hell are we talking about? All right, so Bullet Club wins, and so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how long HIKULEO sticks around. They actually stuck him on the roster page, I believe.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm guessing Bound for Glory, and then maybe we'll see some other players come in. We could.
That's a great thing about the New Japan relationship, the storyline with the Bullet Club. Who knows? Any of them could show up because they're doing this stuff with New Japan, the U.S. New Japan, Strong, and obviously they're doing shows in September and October. Leads to possibilities.
Oh yeah, and if you bring in God right now and put them up against Good Brothers, now leading into Bound for Glory, that'd be amazing. That'd be the icing on the cake, and that'd be your Bullet Club / New Japan tie-in right there. Not that we couldn't love some more, but that'd be great. So you put the God with Chris Bay and HIKULEO. That's perfect. That's not too much. That's just perfect. That's a good amount of guys from the Bullet Club. That's about as the max you want in the size company like Impact Wrestling, in my
I don't think you
opinion.
Pretty much ever have a group bigger than like 4 to 5. That's probably the biggest. A stable, it wasn't long ago we were saying the company had no stables really. Yeah. And now all of a sudden there's a multitude. But here's a funny comment. This might be my comment of the day because I have no clue what it means, but it just amuses me. From Adam Brad, Truck the male Alicia.
Is that because of the bread or
because he's in the bottom? I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, so it's like you're in the smoking section.
Yes.
But you don't even smoke.
If my laptop battery were good enough, I would be outside in the courtyard smoking right now, but it just won't hold up. So I got to be inside here with you guys.
Oh, okay. All right. We get it.
But no, I'm fine with that. If people think I'm the new Alicia or a version of Alicia,
or you know what, maybe he's just a pretty face for our ugly mugs, J-Bone.
Well, I'm okay with that too. Thanks, Petey.
Truck's a handsome beast. We love him. Next, you got Morrissey and Moose against Callihan and Edwards. I couldn't wait for this one. I was really curious to see how Morrissey and Moose were going to work together. And I got my answer loud and proud. They destroyed them, and they even went above and beyond that. They destroyed Mrs. Edwards, Alicia Edwards.
They took it too far. They stepped over the line.
Are you jokingly saying that, or are you, or was that uncomfortable for you to watch?
Oh no, sometimes that stuff is uncomfortable, but no, this was fine.
Okay. No, because
this wasn't a Kid Cash and Trinity sort of thing.
That was uncomfortable.
that was
uncomfortable for the time. There's no way that would get on TV now.
Yeah, that was kind of
even the time. That was way too much
with Trinity.
That was
way too much.
I'm sure it was okay by both parties, but it's rough. And obviously, I'm sure there's many safeguards. We were talking Dixie earlier, and you've never saw a gentler power bomb through a table than the one Dixie took. This still looked rough because just Alicia's so small.
Oh, yeah.
It can't help but look rough because of just her build. So
when he took her up,
I'm like,
when he took her up, I was expecting, okay, he's going to go down with her all the way and just like
he didn't
set her down, and he did not. And I would have to think that she said, I don't want you to be too soft, because remember that spear she took from Rhino? I don't remember how many months ago it was, but it was a multi-man match for something. It was for that cup that he won, that VBD eventually used to cash in and get a shot at the tag titles. And she came out with Kendra for the first time ever and started laying waste, and then Rhino accidentally speared her, and it looked like he killed her. So yeah, I'm sure that she was completely fine with this, but yeah.
It shows how tough she is.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But Morrissey, he just doesn't care. And
I hope he cares.
He will never do this.
They laughed, and they laughed, and they laughed, and they laughed.
That is one thing that Steve and I did not do. We were pretty speechless after that happened. We kind of guessed what was going to happen after that. Well, of course, it could have fired up Edwards and Callihan to the point where they won the match, but no, that really set the tone, because Edwards scoops up his wife, apologizes to Callihan, runs off with her to go get her help. Now,
Bill, what was it like in the room? Because it sounded, when watching it tonight, it sounded like you guys just went dead silent when it happened.
Yeah, I think people were surprised it happened. I was surprised it happened. Like, I figured someone was going to stop it, interfere. That they went the full way, and just seeing it, I was just in shock. I was like, is she okay? And then, but she's a trooper, man. She is hardcore. She deserves it.
She sold that like $1 million.
Yeah,
and Morrissey's been around long enough. I mean, if he was like new in the business, I'd have been even more uncomfortable. But he's been around long enough.
He's a professional.
Absolutely. I mean, he's all about, just keeping his, pardon the pun, keeping his nose clean, doing everything right, because this is his redemption story, and he's knocking it out of the park right now.
Yeah, and obviously Eddie's been working with him, so like, obviously when you have a significant other in the locker room that knows like they're watching this, you're going to be extra careful. So right. Even though it may not have looked it, but that's the beauty of this business. It can look like the worst thing in the world, and they just get up and walk away.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
That's why
that it was okay.
They do it and we don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Now the big question is, where do you go? I mean, there's two questions, honestly. Where do you go from here with Moose and Morrissey? Do you keep this going? Like, do you keep them running parallel, and run them up the tag team division? And also, what kind of reaction do you see Callihan getting to what Eddie Edwards did? I don't think this is exactly going to help their relationship. Are we going to see them feud again, or is this we just see this split now? What do you guys think?
Well, it's very this is it's tough to say it now, but it's very much like an old ECW feud, and it's always going to come back around. Like they'll always face each other again. Maybe not now, but sometime in the future. Like they will feud again. They'll only be friendly for so long.
No.
But I don't know if this is going to push it over the edge. I'm sure there's another issue that will, and we know Sami will just go,
look at this dumbass.
But I don't know when that's going to be. But there will be a time. But I don't think this will do it. I'm sure Eddie's not going to be thrilled. He's not going to be happy. But they have more of a common good. But for Morrissey and Moose, I could see that you got two big guys. If they're not going after the world title, maybe they should be going after the tag titles. I'm not sure who the Good Brothers are really going to be feuding with. I know we saw Willie and Rich for a bit, but we'll get to that. I could see them going after the tag titles.
Yeah.
It's unconventional, but plenty of unconventional tag teams have won titles before. And right now, maybe this is the time for a team like that. You just have big dudes that can just beat you up, and I'm okay with that. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but because he's my guy,
just a little bit.
And I've said Morrissey could be world champion in the near future, so I might be a little biased, but I'm fine with that because same thing with Joe Doring. Hey, let the big dudes just run amok for a bit and take some gold. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Truck, what do you think?
I really, really hope that Eddie and Sami are sticking together for a bit. I think they might be because, oftentimes when you see these odd couple tag teams thrown together, their first couple of matches, they do the thing where they're out of step with each other, out of sync, and they're flooding moves and somebody gets rolled up because the other one wasn't paying attention, that sort of nonsense. None of that happened.
Yeah.
They really played into the fact that these guys know each other so well because they fought each other so many times that they work together really well as a team. Like they were hitting team moves all night, and that was just wonderful to see. So yeah, for that alone, and I'm a huge fan of both of them, Sami especially. I've been hoping and dreaming for this to happen for months now, and they've been dropping breadcrumbs, I think, for over a year that this could be coming. So I really hope that it's more than just one match. There was one thing I wanted to say. D'Lo kept comparing them to Batman and the Joker. I don't think that's the right comparison. I think they're Superman and Lex Luthor, because both of those guys, in their own minds, wanted the best for Metropolis and the world and whatnot, but they had very different ideas of what the best means and how to go about achieving it. Yeah.
That's very good.
Bull crap.
Thanks for that, Bill. I know that was you. That smirk. Yeah, but if you think about it, they both frame themselves or as these guys that are there to protect Impact, and we love Impact, and we're gonna chase these AEW guys out or whatever the villain of the day is. They're both deliberately choosing to tell us that's who they are. They just have very different ideas of what does that actually look like,
and how to get there.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I like it.
And Bill, Moose Morrissey, I agree with you. There's not really any space for them to go after the world title right now, and there's not going to be any in the near future. So why not keep them together and let them have these just fantastic matches with the gatekeepers of Impact Wrestling.
It's the gatekeepers. That is true. That's what they are.
So who's a keymaster?
Rick Moranis is the keymaster.
There we go.
Another great Canadian.
There we go. Yeah.
He's Canadian, right?
I think. Knockouts, tag titles. This was a lot of fun. Decay, defending, even though they didn't have them in hand.
Which was weird. This whole match was weird.
Well, they say possession is 9/10 of the rule. Because
we have a question here from Eli.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I assume it's this one here. The Skyscrapers. I remember that tag team. There is some similarities.
Yeah.
But do you think they need a manager? There's the question. Do you think Moose and Morrissey good on their own, or should there be somebody with them if they're going to be a tag team? Right now, they haven't committed to them just being a tag team. If they were to become a tag team, well, I think there's an obvious guy we could think of to maybe be the manager. He's the realest guy in the room, I think.
Oh,
damn.
Man,
that would be if that was the option. It all depends on who the manager would be, because I think these guys can do their own thing. Actually, I've been very impressed with Morrissey's mic skills, and Moose. I obviously like Moose, but I think that could be a role for a certain somebody if they wanted to go that direction and make these guys a tag team officially.
That's not a spoiler, is it?
I would not know what that word means. I did see the aforementioned Enzo at the PPW show last Saturday, a week ago, who was on the card with Morrissey as well.
Yeah.
They did not work together, but he's still got the mic skills, and the crowd eats it up. Even though it's been quite a few years now. So if it was someone like that, I could definitely get into that, and I think the fans would too. So
yeah.
Well, didn't he just have a feud with Jerry Lawler? Because I'd seen a couple of promos that he cut on that, and they just blew me away. So I know, Jay, you're really big on the guy. I don't really have a strong opinion because I hadn't seen much of his work previous, but just those couple of promos, like, man, this guy is something else.
I heard they had a match. I didn't hear any work about any work leading up to it. Bonus baby here says Father James Mitchell. I love Father James Mitchell, but I don't see him as a fit here for Morrissey and Boos. I saw Jacobs. I don't know. I
think they're both really good cockers as is. That sit down that Morrissey had with Gia when he first showed up, that grabbed me instantly. This guy's legit.
Yeah. I don't know who you would really put with him. Who would be the best? Now, if you decide to bring in Enzo, connection down south must be bad. If you decide to bring in Enzo and just put him with them, obviously he's going to be an in the ring person. But yeah, he can certainly hold the mic and do a majority of the talking as well. Then, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of a veteran guy good on the mic off the top of my head. I can't think of one. But well, hopefully we'll get Bill back and hopefully his connection will improve. All right, so we continue. But yeah, well, I can't wait to see what happens with all this stuff with Alicia Edwards. Knockouts tag titles on the line. Decay. Oh, I was just getting into this one. Okay, so Decay with Havoc and Rosemary versus Tasha Steelz with Savannah Evans. Trying to get those titles that they stole from Havoc and Rosemary. Truck, what'd you think of this one?
I thought it was fine. I thought it was really short. It surprised me with how quickly it finished up. The match itself was good. I really liked Tasha's new entrance music. I think this was new, eh? I hadn't heard this before.
Oh, I'd have to go back and look at it.
Yeah, I'm pretty if I'm wrong here, let me know, but I'm pretty sure this was the first time she'd come out to this music, and I really liked it. I know Mark had talked about this a little bit on another review, and I agree with him. I wasn't happy to see Tasha immediately thrown into another tag team and chasing the belts when she'd just come out of that.
Yeah, I hear you there.
My guess, and this is based on nothing, is that the reason they did that is because they want to keep her away from Diona until they're ready to have her take the title off of her. That's my only guess. And I can't see this tag team of her and Savannah sticking together now that they've lost clean. Yeah. But out of everything on the card, this one, kind of surprised me with how short it was and really how inconsequential it almost felt. I really did not believe Tasha and Savannah were going to be beating Decay. So,
no, I didn't either. But I was very curious to see what Savannah was going to look like, and I gotta say,
I thought she looked good.
Yeah. With her and Havoc, that was the matchup I really wanted to see. And that one did not disappoint. Speaking of not disappointing, we got Bill back.
That's the thing. When you're on the road with some hotel Wi-Fi, as you approach the new day, you have to log back in again. So I got the boot, and I had to log back into my internet connection.
Oh, okay. I got you. So we'll just
give it away for free.
We'll blame the new day for that one.
It's not that.
I digress. We're just talking about the Knockouts tag title match, Decay versus Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans. What did you think of this, Bill?
Hold on a second. Let me get this back in front of me again. So we're talking because you guys are talking the Tasha Steelz match, right? Tasha and Savannah.
Yes.
All right. So just gonna pull back up my notes. Okay, I got it back. So yeah, so you have the tag champions here. Hold on, let me make sure. Okay, I'm still here. I thought
tag champions because they don't actually have their belts.
Yes, this is them getting the belts back again. So once again, obviously Tasha, since Kiera, I think it took a little bit, but I think they're starting to have more teamwork as a connection together, feeling more like a team. They didn't really feel like, just because I think we associated them, 2-time knockouts champions, her with Kiera. So you could have said, I know Mark was going with, she should have been singles, go more singles run. So I think that was part of our disconnect to put her on another team. But Savannah gives it something different because obviously Kiera and Tasha were both smaller. So for them to match up with these teams, Savannah gives them, like, you have Havoc on a team, you need somebody that's going to compete against. So it gives you more of a possibility of beating this team, that you have someone that can go head to head with Havoc. Because Rosemary, and even though Tasha is smaller, she's feisty. She can get into it with almost anybody and stand a chance. So I think it was a good match. Obviously, Rosemary and Havoc, Decay, they're riding very high on like they have the pop, they have the crowd. I find it hard to believe that anyone's going to beat them in the near future. And if I'm them, I'm going all in on Decay with a lot of stuff right now. So I would continue pushing them. Rosemary's always been over. Havoc's right there with her now. Crazy Steve is a favorite, I think, of everybody. And Taurus has a lot. So obviously he didn't come out in the match earlier today as a winner, but this group as a whole is something that you want to really keep pushing. So I think the right team won here, but it doesn't make you. I think Savannah and Tasha still look strong enough here to have a spot near the top in the knockouts, at least for tag titles.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this. The highlight for me, honestly, like I said, was Havoc and Savannah Evans facing off. I really enjoyed this a lot. But yeah, so Decay successfully defended their tag titles and got them back in their possession. That was a key thing here. Stole them back, if you will. And now on the men's side of things, the Impact tag titles, Good Brothers versus Swan and Mac.
I know who needs to talk first about that one. His favorite tag team, Truck.
Truck, are you feeling up for going first on this one?
Do you want me to? Are you sure?
Oh shit! Yeah, go ahead.
I've made no secret of the fact that the Good Brothers are not my favorites. I don't see the appeal. I still haven't seen the appeal. We are, what is it here? Mid-September. I have yet to see the appeal. One of the things I'm going to do closer to the end of the year is run back through all of the Impact pay-per-views and specials on the TNI Discord, so we can get a sense as to what should the match of the year be and have a little bit of an internal vote. And to that end, I was going back through the cards for all the shows that we've had at this point. I can't remember any of their matches, and they've been on almost every card. Yeah.
All right.
For the profile and the support and the attention that these guys get, I should be forced to be talking about them and recognizing, like Tenille, that's another example. I really did not like her work when she came in. She's completely flipped me around. So it's not that I'm, dogmatic about this sort of thing, but it just, the guys really look to me, like they show up and they put in a half effort at most. They've got this terrible habit of no selling pretty well everything. Their matches are very paint by numbers. They're, in my opinion, they're mostly an entrance, and they're mostly marketing.
Great marketers.
They're great marketers. And I want to be really clear. The entrepreneurial spirit of these guys and the faith that they have in themselves to have done what they've done with their careers is tremendously inspiring on a personal level. I'm only talking about what I see in the ring and what I hear from them on the mic. The way that they've, they've left the easy money that was the E and gone off and basically built their own brand from nothing almost. That's fantastic. And obviously people inside the business have a lot of respect and value for their opinion and talents, because how many times now has Scott taken either Gallows or Anderson off on some recruiting trip? 3 or 4 that I know of. So obviously these guys are very valuable from a variety of perspectives and in a variety of roles. I'm only saying that we're September here, they've been here for about a year or so. When we go back over these plus specials and the pay-per-views, I really can't see any of their matches being in conversation for match of the year. And if you're going to be putting them in such an important role where they've had the tag titles for pretty well the entire year, that's not a good thing, because we have great tag teams both right now and in the past. Stryker made a comment at one point that this team is amongst the best tag team of all time in the world. And I made a tweet about that, just like, seriously, bud? Like, they're not even the best tag team in Impact's history, let alone the world. What are you talking about?
It smells like beer, sweat, self-tanner, and baby oil, brother.
I watched that, and again, I want to make it clear. I find these guys really inspiring on that professional, entrepreneurial level. But just show up, guys. You're on the card with Josh Alexander and Chris Sabin. Show up.
Particularly what you're seeing in ring.
Oh, God. Show up.
Okay.
Yeah. Stop kicking out at 1.
I hear you. All right. Bill?
Well, I think some of the things you're not thrilled with is what another company's totally built on. It's a style, a wrestling style. When we're talking actual in-ring, that's what a lot of these wrestlers today are doing. But I do think they're not the team you're looking for work rate. Really, like, although 2012 G1 finalist Carl Anderson can definitely do that.
Oh my God!
But and let's not Joe Doring versus the Big LG. Fantastic match.
That was
fantastic match. So they can, if they need to, and maybe that's what could be frustrating, is these guys both can get very talented in-ring workers, but that's not their gimmick, really. They really aren't. Like, that's not what and I think that's part of the Bullet Club, even though they're not the Bullet Club now. It's part of the thing. It's just they're too cool, and that's what they are. And I know that turns people off, but it turns a lot more people on than it turns off.
Yeah.
It brings eyes, it brings views. People know who these guys are, but they're not there to give you, usually, although they can, a fantastic work rate match. Either did Hulk Hogan, either did John Cena, but they do enough to then also be a character that people like for a number of reasons. Like, people are throwing the Bullet Club signs, or these guys get over a lot. That's why they're such good. Like, that's why everything they did, Talking Shop podcast, Talking Shop Mania,
worst pay-per-view in the world,
worst pay-per-view ever, and we do a review on it. That's how over these guys are.
And
so
it brought us some of the best numbers ever.
And I like them. I'm a fan of them. Are they the Motor City Machine Guns? Are they numerous tag teams?
Lucha Bros, the North, LAX.
No. Yeah. But there's a long, great history of tag teams in Impact and TNA. Like, these guys have not had a long enough run here to say they're go down as one of those teams. If they stick around here for 5 years, I could definitely see them being in a conversation for it because of their character, along with, I'm sure, multiple title reigns and long title reigns. They'll be worthy of it because the company does think about them. Remember, they are the #1 moment on social media in the history of the company. So they bring a lot to the table. There's no denying that. You can be fans, not fans of people's work. I don't know if I don't think I said it on here, but like I was at the SmackDown in New York at the Garden. John Cena off TV was in the main event. I've never been a fan of John Cena, the wrestler in the ring. But you know what? That was going to be his last appearance. I gave the guy a standing ovation. He puts a lot into it. He gives effort. He does a lot for the business.
Yeah.
Kudos. Same thing. If you're not a fan of these guys for a particular reason, but you can see what they do add to the product. I'm happy they're on the roster.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and I saw someone ask about them being the reason, one of the main reason or one of the reasons for the New Japan relationship. I think you got to say yeah. You know, they're great friends with what's his name, Romero.
Rocky Romero, yeah.
Rocky Romero, yeah.
You know, on that point, Jay, that New Japan Resurgence show, I did watch that, and I'd never watched a New Japan show before.
Okay.
They were better on that one. If they brought that kind of energy that they had in the ring there to Impact, I'd be a lot happier.
Okay. All right.
I think they need to get the right feud, too. I think that's where, and maybe Moose and Morrissey could turn into that feud, because the Good Brothers are sort of face, sort of not at times. Like, I can't even tell you what they are on a given day, because sometimes they're playing into the crowd, sometimes they're going after the crowd. But that's the whole NWO, Bullet Club, Good Brothers. That's been the thing, but that's been one of the biggest things. And I know people are talking about, do they bring the ratings? Do they move the needle? I don't know. Like, what needle are you talking about? Are you talking about, like, you want Impact to go from this to this by one act? Nobody does that. I don't care who you sign. Give me a free agent. Then nobody can move it to that. Are they selling merch? Are they bringing social media? Like, these all go into it, and they're doing a lot of that. The whole ratings thing, they're arbitrary to begin with, ratings today, because someone will tell you, maybe Fake Wrestling News will tell you, that AEW's beating Monday Night Raw because of a demo in an age group, even though they're still losing by hundreds of thousands of views.
Yeah.
Which one matters? It's all numbers. You can pick a number for any argument you want. That's a waste of time. Don't bother.
Yeah. But yeah, and I see both sides of that as far as, you know, pros and cons of the Good Brothers. But what I'd like to bring forth here is I was honestly, I felt like this was going to be a great moment for Mac and Swan. I felt like they both showed up with the same ring gear. I was like, oh, here we go.
Ring gear. Watch out.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is sometimes when you got it, like that was like my thing when Juice showed up with Finlay, and Juice looked like Blues Brothers, you know, cosplay, and Finlay had a leather jacket and I forget what else he was wearing. Couldn't have been more opposites, you know. So I'm like, okay, are these guys are a tag team? Or are they just bringing both two separate guys? I had no clue. So, you know, but then they got the ring gear, and I'm like, okay. Then I paid a little more attention, and holy shit, yeah, FinJuice is on fire. No matter who they're facing, win or lose, they're on fire. They look like they're really, you know, working together now. So that's the feeling I got with Mac and Swan, and I'm like, okay, this has been a long time coming. Ever since that ill-fated injury of Swan's from almost 2 years ago now. Or a year and a half or whatever it was. Yeah. So I really felt like if there was going to be a moment, because now Kenny's gone, the title's on him, that feeling is starting to like fade away from Impact Wrestling. So I was like, okay, if there's a time to take the belt off the Good Brothers, you know, because that feeling is starting to fade, then now's the time. Boom, pull the trigger, you know. Put it on a hot new team or new-ish team. You know, going into Bound for Glory, but that didn't happen.
No, and Jay, I'm with you. I thought there was a really good chance Swan and Mac were going to take this match. It seemed like like they were telling a good story with putting Mac in the hospital and the hardcore stuff. So they were telling a story here. And there is the history with Rich and Willie. Like I think they may have been in the North if Rich doesn't get hurt. That could have happened back then. And it felt like that way again. Like they could win this match. And I think that's, as long as we're thinking that's a good thing. That there is a team that can beat the Good. Like the Good Brothers don't seem insurmountable. They lost before the titles. They gained them back. But there was another team where we thought they could do it. I don't think they're out of contention for it. I think they could still come back. I think they made a strong, like they could challenge again for these titles. Like, and we know Impact likes to do multi-tag matches. Maybe that's what happens at Bound for Glory. Maybe there'll be 3 tag teams in some type of match, but we'll see what happens. But once again, and I'm with you. I think Kenny losing also played in our heads. Like, all right, Kenny doesn't have our title. So will the Good Brothers keep the title?
It's that time, yeah.
Like, does the storyline necessitate them having it? But they are also on that other show weekly, and they carry those titles. That there is something to that for the whole thing. Like, they are appearing on different TV networks with lots of viewers.
Bill, I think you got to play that soundbite. The chat's going nuts right now.
Everybody wants to know about some booty cheeks.
Oh, God.
Do you got hair on your booty cheeks?
I love the Mac. All right, so continuing on now, we got 2 matches, Mac. We're going to try to wrap this up in 2 hours. The X Division title match, Josh Alexander, the champ, defending against multi-time, eight-time X Division champion at one time in the company, Chris Sabin. Damn.
Hail Sabin.
Hail Sabin. I love this match, and the more I paid attention to the chat during the watch along, I really started to worry for a minute. Because I'm sorry, I forget who said it, but there was a couple people, at least 1 or 2 people in the chat that were talking about how Sabin just beat Moose, and I was like, oh shit,
that was a
you're
shot.
Right. Yeah,
he came back and won in a rematch, but
still,
when Moose lost that match against Chris Sabin, we were shocked.
Yeah,
and Sabin beat Sami clean recently.
Sabin has a huge win this year.
Yeah, they did everything they could.
If we were
to tell
a company
us
that
this
cared
guy
about records, Sabin would be looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, win or lose, he's had an amazing 2021. And so I really started second thinking this for a bit. And yes, D-back, absolutely match of the night. I kind of guessed this one was going to be match of the night. This was a lot of fun, and Sabin absolutely did put the doubt in your mind. He is one tough son of a bitch, and yes. He brought it. But Josh came out, and there was absolutely that respect in the end. And I want to talk about there was that moment at the end. So I'm going to start with the man who was there in the front row, Bill. Talk about this match, and then talk about that moment at the end.
Yeah, no, this was definitely match of the night. It was match of that set of tapings. Josh has been hitting it out of the park all year. TJP, just many matches, even beyond this year, honestly, since his singles run. So I know maybe some people weren't happy when the North broke up and he became a singles wrestler. Maybe there were some questions. If he hasn't put all those to rest by now, I don't know what you're watching, because he's been killing it. Honestly, I look back and I was a fan of the North as a team, but now I'm like, man, he should have been a solo act way sooner, because that's what he's meant to be. He's meant to be a solo wrestler. I know he got kind of put in a tag team, but and hey, Bret Hart was in a tag team, but he was one of the best solo wrestlers of all time. And Josh Alexander, he really could make his mark as a singles competitor in this business. He's a main event player, there's no doubt, and he really has made the X Division run one of the better ones. And going against Sabin as kind of the highlight this, because once again, just like with Swan and Mac, I thought there's a run. Sabin's been fantastic this run. For him to get a 9th claim at the title, maybe that's the guy that could beat, because who was going to beat Josh? Maybe Sabin would. But he did not here. But he gave him a hell of a match. And that's what Sabin's been doing. He's giving everybody – these are probably the 2 best, if you're looking in-ring work of 21, is Sabin and Josh. And they put on a great match here. Maybe the best impact – well, it depends. The Iron Man match is almost something different. And it's tough to put any match in comparison with it. But the non-Iron Man match, this might be the match of the year in Impact. And it was a great one. And I think for, like I said, anyone with questions, but for the crowd, for anyone that watched Victory Road, I think you now can say this could be the face of the company, Josh Alexander.
Yeah. We'll talk about what happened after the main event in a little bit. Truck, what'd you think?
I agree with everything Bill just said. I'm sure this was incredible to see live, because it was certainly incredible to watch taped. The story that they told with the match was certainly not a story that I was expecting. Sabin really went to him as if, you say you want to be the best professional wrestler. All right, I'm going to out-wrestle you and teach you a few things. Leading into it, I really thought Sabin could win. I thought it could go either way, just because of the build that they've given him recently with these clean wins over guys like Moose and Sami, just driving home the point that he's not a young fella anymore, but this guy's legit, and if you don't take him serious, he's going to take it off of you. I loved, and I hope that this was deliberate and I'm not reading something into nothing, but over the course of the match, Josh lost both his mouth guard and his headgear. And I think that was on purpose. I think that was kind of an indicator of just how hard Sabin is pushing this guy, and just how much work Josh is having to put into just surviving, let alone winning. Yeah.
That is interesting that you bring that up. Yeah, I did notice that. And especially he lost the headgear.
Yeah.
He did lose the headgear like right at the end of the match there. Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, after throwing absolutely everything at Sabin. Everything. And, getting it put into positions a couple of times where it looked like, is Josh going to submit? I love it when the guy who doesn't do submissions very often locks in submissions and demonstrates that he knows how to pay attention to where he is in the ring and keep the guy off the ropes, or to switch up the variations so that even when he does wiggle over the ropes, too bad, buddy. Your close arm, I've got that one now. You're not going to be able to get it. I love that sort of stuff. Rohit's really good at doing that. Sabin broke that out tonight, and I hadn't seen that before from him. I absolutely loved this match.
Yeah. Yeah, that certainly sets up some stuff for the future. Now, that moment at the end there where Sabin comes up to him and whispers some stuff in his ear, gives him a hug, and then leaves him. Do you think this is going to lead to something separate besides what we see at the end of the night? Or do you think this was Sabin telling him to do what happened at the end of the night?
I don't necessarily think that plays a part in what we see after the main event. I think that was more, this was maybe the guy that most identifies with the X Division telling this new generation, you know what, you have it. You are the face of the X Division. Like you could say he kind of passed the torch to Josh Alexander.
Okay.
Like you gave it your all. This, like, because that was kind of the angle. It was like Josh was like, I'm the best X Division champion ever. That was a tall tale to say, especially when you have an 8-time champion there. But he's like, you know what? You're the man. You're the man in the X division. And to get that kind of, if you're getting the kudos from Chris Sabin as the X division, the face of the X division, I think that's about as good as you can get. He is synonymous with X division. So I think that was putting him over big time. Because when and remember, this is a Nashville crowd, hail Sabin.
Yeah.
You're giving this guy the rub. You're saying, Josh, Sabin was being a kingmaker right there. He's like, you know what? Anybody that had a doubt about Josh Alexander, I tell you, yes, he's the man, Josh Alexander. And I will go behind the curtain a little bit here. After that was the final match in that set of tapings. That was the main event of the tapings.
Oh.
And probably for the first time ever, Josh Alexander addressed that crowd after that match. And he gave a great promo about that. Like, I don't know if that it was ever taped or will ever see the light of day, but you could tell it how much it meant to him. He was very emotional about it, but you could see, and that's something because when he was in the tag team, he didn't do much of the talking. You didn't know really what he could or couldn't do.
Yeah.
Just like Morrissey when he was in his tag team up north. But he's a great promo. Josh Alexander is a great promo. A very emotional promo.
He
comes
keeps
off very sincere.
Very similar to Willie Mack. He keeps it real, like he's just talking to you. Yeah, absolutely. So that is interesting to hear. Truck.
Same as Bill. Story-wise, I figured he's telling him option see it, but there's nowhere else for you to go. And privately, I imagine that it was a bit of a personal moment between the two. That Bill, just as you were saying, that you've accomplished something really special tonight. I'm proud of you. Blah blah blah. Because it was an absolutely tremendous match. I'm really looking forward to watching it again because I can't think of many that I've ever seen that are at that level.
Yeah, and then I even missed part of it live because I had to step away for a minute. But yeah, for what I watched, I got about 2/3 of it. But it was absolutely amazing. And like I said, the fact that knowing what Chris Sabin has done over the past several months leading up to this, to put that bit of doubt in your mind and then have him tell the story they told tonight, it's great. It was great. It's this. It really made you feel like don't like I've said it a billion times. Don't assume anything. So, and then that leads us to the main event. Impact World Title, Christian Cage versus Ace Austin. This was honestly, this was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and that's not a knock on anyone. Just because I didn't know exactly what story they were going to tell. Was this going to be a thing where Fulton does some kind of shenanigans and then Ace Austin wins with the cheap heat? Does Christian have kind of a, because you really didn't know how much time they were going to take. They took up a decent amount of time. You really didn't know what kind of story they were going to tell. With shenanigans, just a regular match, or what? And I was really happy with this, and to the point that I really felt for a while that Ace was going to win it, and I was hoping it. And it's no hate on Christian Cage, but I felt like that would have been a great time. And of course, that feeling changed at the end with what we got, because that made me feel like, wow, what we got coming down the road is going to be amazing. But I don't want to take anything away from Ace Austin at the same time, because, man, if there was ever a night where he was going to become champ, this felt like it was. This felt like this was it. Let's start with Truck. Truck, your thought on the main event.
Ace's promo leading into the match is fantastic. If there's one thing I'm really looking forward to Bound for Glory. If there's one thing I'll say for this match is I'm sorry that he's not going to get that youngest Impact champion of all time, because he's going to be around for a while, and he's definitely going to have it sooner rather than later. What's that?
He still has a cup.
He still has a cup, yeah.
He does.
There was a couple more months after this point, I think. He could still win it and, call himself youngest champion. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. The match was excellent, I thought. I didn't have any concerns about it being a weak match. Christian is, a special kind of animal. Ace is a special kind of animal. I figured that they were going to work very well together. Yeah, Charles, it's nuts how good Christian still is. He's better than he ever was. He's the best he's ever been. It's absolutely wonderful to watch him, and I'm glad that we've got him for a bit of time here.
Yeah, no matter where you watch him, whether you watch him in his run on AEW or as champ here, you're if you're not watching, you're missing something special, because this is a guy that didn't know 7 years ago if he was ever going to get in the ring again, and now look at what kind of year we're having. We got the return of CM Punk in AEW. We got Christian Cage. Whether you like him as champ or not, the quality of the champion he is still good in my professional podcast opinion.
He has belonged in the main event for every match he's had. He's brought it. He's showed up 100%. And it's, for me as a guy who was a kid, watched him in the WWE, now getting to see him, coming back 20 years on and seeing, I was right. That guy was a lot better than what he was getting at the time. Yeah.
Oh, he came to TNA in 2005 to prove it.
Yeah.
He wasn't a main eventer until he came to TNA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I heard his feud with Randy Orton is one of the best feuds ever, and I really didn't pay attention for whatever reason. But I did pay a lot of attention to his stuff in TNA when he first showed up. Was it 2005, 2006?
Yeah, 2005.
Okay. And that was eye-opening. That was a shocker. And that was a lot of fun to watch. I was like, wow, what's he really going to do here? And they pulled the trigger on him. They were like, okay, we're going to do with you what we feel should have happened with you over there, And, well, shoot, he's he had to cut. He's having the most amazing wrestling year. He came back to wrestling in another company that gave him that opportunity to have a great moment with Edge. And Truck, I'm sure you appreciated that. But then to know that same company didn't want to keep him around to do anything with him shocked me. I was like, okay, now what's next? It really shouldn't shock me, but
no. Remember the guy who runs the place, unironically, wanted to put a blue dot over his face whenever he was on TV, because he thought, I don't like looking at this guy's face. Let's put a blue dot over his face, and that can be his gimmick.
That says a lot.
Yeah, and once that guy thinks of you one way, he's not going to change his mind.
No matter what he does in another company or anything.
No, what you do in another company doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, he was the original. That kind of came over, had success, eventually went back, and was told to be humble pretty much for a while by coming back, and then sadly got hurt. But no, I think it's great that he's back. I think anybody that was a fan of TNA back then, even if you were like, oh, he came from there, but he did his thing there. He was there and had great stories, great matches.
Oh, sure.
I was a huge Christian Cage fan in Impact Wrestling, TNA at the time.
I still can't call him Cage. To me, he's just Christian.
He was Christian Cage. Then when he went back, he was still Christian Cage.
I know.
Double C's for life. But I think for anybody, and I know Trent is not a fan of the relationship, but seeing what they've been doing, yeah, you're not getting back and forth on shows, but for especially just the Impact viewer that doesn't watch anything else, you're getting these, and they're legends of the company coming back. You got it with Kazarian, you got it with Matt Hardy. You're getting some closure with some people that you didn't have before. and this is offering that opportunity. Is it a full-fledged partnership? You can go back and forth on that. But I'm fine with Christian Cage as champion. Kenny Omega, considered the best wrestler in the world. You had him for a lot. But Christian Cage, he's more of an Impact guy. So the storyline makes a lot more sense. Kenny Omega, he would make the one guy that beats him. Yes, true. Maybe not to a lot of casual wrestling fans. They probably wouldn't even recognize it. They'd be like, oh, what happened there? Which one's Jay? But for Impact fans, I think if Christian loses to Josh Alexander, I think that might tell the story that a true Impact fan wants. Kenny Omega is going to be a note in the history of Impact Wrestling. Christian Cage is a legend. He's a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Because I know I've said it once, I'll say it again. It's once you think about the stuff with Kenny Omega was basically the Callis and Omega show.
Yeah.
That tells you right there where it was going to go. And not that I'm down on that, but once you understand where it's from and where it's going, that says a lot.
It played its purpose. It played its part.
Yeah. And it is what it is.
To me, that only would have done something if it was Moose that beat him. So then you make Moose he's your face. Like I think Moose would have had to beat Kenny to make it make sense for Impact. And I think Josh will have to beat Christian. Like that, I think that makes the most sense. You have a perfect built-in story there. And let's not forget, this is the one thing with Ace, and Moose was kind of doing this too, the whole bring the title home storyline.
Yeah.
Ace wasn't doing that at all. It was all about Ace being champion. He wasn't trying to bring the title back to Impact Wrestling. Because that's the thing, because remember, there were people rooting for the heels over the Kenny Omega storyline for the good of the company.
Then it was Impact versus AEW.
It was,
and now that's
now
not really
it's
the case.
Christian, which I know some people are still like, well, no, he's AEW. He's AEW. And that's kind of what's coming. We'll see. But that's still out there. And Josh, you can tell he feels a way about it.
Yeah.
Feeling kind of way?
Feels some kind of way about it.
Oh, we know that way. But yeah, the match itself between Ace Austin and Christian Cage was a lot of fun. Christian Cage wins. I was a little surprised, but I wasn't like, oh, it didn't like surprise me to the point where ruined my night. Like, oh, if Ace Austin doesn't win, I riot. No, it made sense in my head, but Christian Cage wins, and then Josh Alexander's music hits, and it's like, oh, what's happening here? And right before Josh Alexander said it, I guessed it. So, but I'm not going to take some kind of massive credit for I called it. No, I'm not. No, I'm not one of those guys because that's just silly. Because you can guess anything.
I called it.
Okay.
We'll take credit for that. I know you're still in the chat, but I see your name.
Everybody,
I'll let
give
you.
Jabin one of these.
Well, because I audibly said it during the watch. I was like, oh, we're getting option C. And then sure enough, he says, bound for glory. And as soon as he says bound for glory, you know what's coming. Option C. And that leaves a whole lot of openness as far as what can happen with the X Division Championship between now and then. Is it just decided at Bound for Glory? Are we going to have some kind of tournament?
Give me a tournament. Please give me a tournament. I love tournaments.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of those in the NWA TNA days, and those are so much fun. You tell them, I mean, some of them you can, depending on who's involved, sometimes you may not be as excited as others, but you tell the right story, man. It could be, you can call it Tournament of the Year. You never know. I'm personally super stoked for this and the story that they're going to tell. And one thing I said at the end of the watch along is I don't think they need to do a whole lot for this. I think just them being in this match says a whole lot by itself. It's a no-brainer as far as what's going to happen. And I'm not saying like a spoiler alert or nothing. It just it's going to be a great match. They're going to tell a great story, and they don't. No one's going to sit there and be like, "Oh, well, I don't get it." Really? I mean, this is and it's also it felt like this was a long time coming, because I know Scott DeBoer had a lot of pride in hiring a guy like Josh Alexander, and I think this was like the long-term game plan for him. And to have it happen this way, I feel like just feels like $1 million for Josh Alexander. Let's go Truck first, and then Bill. What are your thoughts at the end of the show?
I think this match alone is going to sell tickets. I think this match alone is going to sell out BFG. I don't care what else is on the card. I would buy a ticket if I was able to go. Yeah, as soon as actually Ace got pinned, both D-Back and I, because we were watching in Discord, both of us put up Josh is beating Christian at Bound for Glory. That's what's happening here. And even after the end of the Josh Saban match, especially when we had that whispering in his ear bit, I figured that's what's happening here. He's telling him option C it, bud, because who else do you have to face in Impact? No one. There's no other mountains for you to climb here. You've got to go to that next level, and that's what the next level is.
Well, there's Johnny Swinger.
Get the fuck out of here, Jay. You had me for a second. I'm like, shit, did I forget someone?
Hey, you forgot
Johnny Swinger.
That's right, Danny.
Looking back to the beginning of the card, I think the option C stuff is why Laredo Kid won that 5-man at the beginning of the card.
Oh, I mean,
You guys swing?
I think that could certainly give him a leg up going into Bound for Glory.
Yeah.
This next month. We'll see.
Yeah. I was really happy that Josh kept it super simple. He didn't cut a promo. He didn't run his mouth and wander around what he was going to say. Just Bound for Glory, option C. That's exactly what I wanted him to do.
Yeah.
I love this guy so much.
And you don't, with a guy like that and a guy like Christian, you don't have to do a 10-minute promo explaining that.
Yeah.
So, Bill.
No, I can't agree more with it. I think they have played it right. You had the little comments from Josh kind of inserting himself in like Christian Cage. Like he was kind of putting out there. So I think we kept thinking, well, Bound for Glory, Josh plays a part. We didn't know if it'd be option C or not that he plays a part, but after Ace, who would be next for him as well? Like who would be in the world title match? Even though there's a lot of people that we think are in the main event, who would really be next in line? And it makes it, there hasn't been like option C. I guess the last successful option C was Brian Cage. Cashed in option C and then won the belt. So that also can bring it, because I know people wanted to comment highlight here for a bit. So let me bring that up wherever it is. Here it is. Is there a possibility Josh beats Cage and then Brian Cage music hits and we get a Brian Cage versus Josh? Well, I would think that's crazy, but we already know announced Melissa Santos is back in the fold for the Knockouts Knockdown. That was announced.
Oh boy.
You sell it down, J-Bone.
Oh, it's like, the 7 tie-ins with Kevin Bacon. It's like, no, don't do that.
But we know, hey, who knows? Maybe this is intentional, because we know recently there was stuff put out there that he's not being used correctly at AEW. Would it shock me if Brian Cage showed back up in Impact in some capacity? Remember the infamous promo they cut, and Brian Cage talked about being world champion, like with the Tony. Maybe there is something to it. I don't think it would happen at Bound for Glory, maybe sometime in 22. If Josh does win, could I see him maybe showing up at Hard to Kill or something like that? If he's doing nothing down south, why not?
Come back for a few months, go through a few
Yeah, like,
feuds.
could I see a feud? I could. Right now with the door, the Forbidden Door, he has a tie-in to Impact. We're seeing people with tie-ins to Impact resurface. It's almost seems like it's so recent though. Why would it? But that Melissa's doing something with Impact again. Maybe.
I don't know if you can see the Twitch chats, Jay or Bill, but D-back in the chat. Cage versus Cage in the cage needs to happen. I agree.
Hey, lockdown's coming back, man.
Someday, yes, absolutely. Someday. Well, then you can't forget, Paige, and of course, then you got to put the match on Rampage. But I digress.
You're gonna call it Ramcage for the night there?
Yeah, Ramcage, absolutely.
AEW Friday Night Rampage.
Team Ramrod for life.
Ramrod? What? Oh my god! Oh, we love Ramrod.
Come on, I gotta drink a liter of cola.
That too. But yeah, I'm super excited. One discussion. I don't want to do this tonight. I want to bring this up for like a Patreon, like a Sunday dinner thing.
What's the Patreon address, Jay? I can't remember.
Oh yeah, just here. Shoot, I'll put it in there. Patreon. Boom, there it is. TNI Patreon is live. Sunday dinner or whenever we have, because sometimes it's Saturdays,
sometimes it's Saturday.
Who can show up. Yeah, or it depends on who's bringing what kind of. Boom. Dear God, you scared me, Joe. Depends on who's bringing what kind of cake, pies, or cookies to the dinner. That's always a factor too, But now that we know that truck brings bread, we'll be expecting some bread.
Cinnamon raisin.
There we go. I'm sold. Let's do it. I want to have a discussion sometime, and please try to remember this because I know I'm going to forget. Because as soon as I say it, I'll forget it. What would have felt better? No, this is serious. What would have felt better? What we're getting now with Josh Alexander cashing in option C versus Christian Cage, or what I know a lot of fans wanted to end the the Kenny Omega run of his Impact World Title run versus Moose.
Yep, that's definitely the two scenarios.
I think that's a great topic of discussion, and I'd love to just put that in the fans' heads. But that is absolutely going to happen sometime in the future over on the Patreon. Either going to be for Sunday dinner or after dark. Something just to get
lots of extra shows over on the Patreon. You've got the family dinner, you got the after dark, and you got the hit and run.
Yeah,
plus the fans' choice. There's 4 extra shows you guys do now.
There we go, and just to get more people on it too. Just to put some heads together as far as that goes. But yeah, by all means, there's different tiers. You get different things on different tiers. I'm not privy to that because Mark put that all together, and I'm old and I don't remember that shit. So, but by all means, folks, please take some time, head on over to the Patreon page, and go check it out. Trent, are you honestly shocked? I'm running the show. Are you shocked that we're still live? I tried to end it at 2 hours, but we're having a great discussion.
Pathetic.
Hey now.
Thanks a lot
to this, Bill. You're part of the reason this is over 2 hours.
Hey, it wasn't me. It was Eric Young.
It's Eric Young. But by all means,
it was
folks,
by design.
By design. Wherever you watch tonight, thank you. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that sub button. Thank you for the subs on Twitch. And Trent, anyone else not able to watch tonight due to the Apple fiasco with Impact Plus?
I haven't heard anybody saying it in the chat tonight, but I don't know. Everybody said they did okay, the people that did it there.
Yeah, I was having trouble logging in earlier. I'm not an Apple guy, but I got lucky. I tuned in a few minutes early, watched the countdown clock.
Reveal of the year, J-Bone is not an Apple guy.
I'm not. I do love a good, delicious apple, though.
A Macintosh?
Apple? No.
I got it, Bill.
Fuji.
Anyways, I prefer. J-Bone loves his pie. Anyways, by all means, wherever you're watching, go check out all the links in the description. Much love. Check out the merch links. There's going to be a lot of new merch coming soon, going into the fall. So keep an eye out for that. And awkward Apple silence. Absolutely, Trent. Thanks again for tuning in. Whether you was on the live reaction or the review tonight, appreciate it. And thank you, Truck. Thank you, Bill. And I'm gonna thank myself for sitting here for 5+ hours. No, I'm not that big-headed. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We're gonna get out of here. And yeah, I was getting ready to play the outro. And no, when we do the double simulcast, Jiminy Christmas, that's freaking creepy. We don't do an outro. So good night, y'all. Much love. We'll see y'all soon.